the problem. So let me see here. How can I want to be able to point. So when I look at the problem and I say, okay, I don't see any squareds. If I had some squareds, I might be able to use some of the other properties, but I don't. And so the only thing I think here is, okay, I have the cosecant, and the cosecant I can write in terms of the sine. So that's why I did that. And that's the first thing I can do. And then I say, okay to myself, what can I do next? Well, if I can have a single fraction in the denominator, then I have a fraction in the numerator, which is just, I can rewrite that as 1 plus sine of y divided by 1, right? I have a fraction there, and a fraction divided by a single fraction, so that I don't have this 1 plus. I need it to be a single fraction with no addition, in terms of like having a 1 plus something. And so how do I deal with that? Well, I can make this have a common denominator. The common denominator is going to be the sine of y. And that's why I said multiply 1, right? Multiply this one by the sine of y divided by the sine of y, because I can multiply anything by 1 and not be breaking any rules. And then I can add sine of y plus 1 and divided by the sine of y. So this part right here is now the denominator of the expression. That's why that is here. That becomes the denominator, and the numerator is just 1 plus the sine. And then I remind myself, okay, division of fractions is the same thing as multiplication of the reciprocal of the second fraction. So here's my numerator, and I am not saying division because I flipped over the division right away. So this said 1 plus sine of y divided by, this line reads as divided by sine of y plus 1 divided by sine of y. Very complicated, but division of fractions is the same thing as multiplication of the reciprocal. So the denominator became the numerator, and the numerator became the denominator here. And now I have multiplication, so I have this part being multiplied, right? And so this is a common factor. That's why I canceled it out, because it doesn't matter whether it's written underneath each other or not. I have all multiplication going on. And then since this just makes 1, right? 1 plus sine of y divided by 1 plus sine of y. Addition can be written in any order. I end up with sine of y. All right, see if that helps. If not, you got to use the bookings page, because I'm not allowed to take calls unless it's on there. So see if there's a time that works for you. And it doesn't really matter whether it's fast or slow, because you're going to keep having to deal with very similar kinds of problems.